Greetings to you all. Welcome to Creative Writers. Pen crowns vision. Today's topic is an empty nest. May I now welcome Mrs. Gayatri to recite today's poems. Please, ma'am, welcome.
Hello everyone. Today's topic is an empty nest. Our first poet is Mrs. Sumati. An empty nest, a horrible stage in a parent's life after their children have left. An empty nest includes depression, a sense of loss of purpose, feelings of rejection, anxiety over child's welfare. Dear parents, make your children grow with your love. Give them wings to fly, roots to come back, reasons to stay back. Dear parents, you too never feel to be an empty nester. Instead, think yourself as a parent of free range adults. Try to enjoy the fullest. Our next poet is Mrs. G. Sarala. An empty nest, the creeping of birds as a melody ever to be heard, flying away with grown wings, emptying the nest brings. A scenario of barren land, fusing our colorful dream to blind. The empty nest gives space to think the best of ourselves, but the near and dear to peep in, intimating the empty nest to be in the bin. But it's built not merely with material, exclusively with love to live as imperial. I have built my cozy heart with strong soul, never to depart from drought or storm, but hope with faith to be warm. Our next poet is Mrs. K. Gomati. On or about the Mother Earth, all the species are given birth. She protects us, providing shelter, nurtures us, giving air, food, and water, hurting her and destroying the nature. Where will we reside in future? Foolishly polluting our Mother Earth. Many species were put to death, exploiting all the natural resources. We search for our life's sources. Shortly will arise an awful day when we are dropped into the sea of dismay and we grapple for our existence, ignorant of vicious consequence. Once our motherly earth teemed with life. Presently we strive to sustain our life, swear to reinvigorate our nature, doing our best. Please make not our motherly earth an empty nest. Our next poet is Miss Tanya Gopinath. An empty nest. Our schools are empty nests without us, the birds. We birds were always creeping, roaming, and dancing everywhere. Before the birds thought the nest was light, four-walled room with sealed doors and windows. We always wanted to move out of the nest. Now we miss our nest so much. We lived in our nest like brothers and sisters. The teachers were like our parents. We birds are now longing for the current situation to get over, so we all can fly back to our nest and live again like a family. Our next poet is Mrs. R. Gayatri. Birds lived in the trees as a home. Is the identity still existing for them as an abode? United they lived happily, shared their love beautifully. Humans show the birds to their children for feeding and stop crying action. Birds care their young ones as a protector, but humans disturb them as a controller. Birds spread seeds everywhere. Humans enjoyed the fruitfulness of the trees. Humans started to sell the nature for its selfish nature. Our environment has lost the identity of the many birds. Many species of the birds vanished. Plant a tree near your abode. Let the birds rest as a home. Keep some rains and water. Let them have a life better. We are responsible for birds' life quest. Protect the trees as they won't remain with empty nest. Our next poet is Shankare. The moment I gave birth, he became the prince of my earth. He is our precious baby who came to turn us crazy. Long ago, we were on a tiresome routine. Fortunately, arrived my little bundle of joy, destined to bang us with a lot to enjoy. Tiresome life bumped into a striking adventure. Every cell of our body filled with nostalgia of our baby. Every second in our life occupied by our angel face. Every nook and corner of our house blew the scent of my little mouse. We were in fantasy, forget to accept reality. My little angel without wings exhibited the sign of aging and will be really to exchange the ring soon. At any moment, he may leave with his wife. Our house will turn into an empty nest. That's all a part of life, and I need to wish him all the best. Our next poet is Mrs. Kalyani P.R. One summer evening, sky sounds with dark clouds. Wind blew fast, carrying all the garbages and spread dust. Trees began to dance, lightning flashed, rain started wetting the floors. An empty nest fell down from the farthest tree and blown to my doors. I took the nest, it's very cute, nest of a tailor bird. I searched inside, nothing found. There was no symptoms for eggs laid. It was not new, old, used to by them to rest. Grown-up birds might flew away, searching something best, or the eggs might be eaten by the snakes and left by the poor mother bird, or the nest didn't satisfy the female bird and abandoned. So many stories behind an empty nest. It may give sweet memories or remind sad sorrows that they lost. In villages, we can find so many empty nests carrying beautiful stories, the longing walls of the houses waiting to hear their loved ones' stories. If you are the one who left your ancestral nest in the village, wants to visit the dwelling, give fresh air to breathe. The walls and doors will smile, hearing your tones with glee. Now the nest I found, anchored in the portico often, visited by a few birds, it will rest and flee, feeding them with grains and cup of water to thrive. Now the nest is so beautiful and alive. Our next poet is Mrs. Dr. Mary Suresh. An empty nest, taking pretty rest and waiting with thirst for being best. An infant nesting bird, staying on and up above the tree, longing for a tiny bird, whispering with breezy air, inviting with budding leaflet in the leafy branches, hiding it from leaves, not to leave. An empty nest ever, expecting a nesting bird. Our next poet is Mrs. Anuradha. An empty nest on a misty morning with dewdrops of glittering in the traffic lightning, travel with chatting. There we entered a forest when all the natural things are at rest. Came a sudden breeze, caressing the wrist. We rest under a tree with a nest. We suppose it's eggs in it, but unexpectedly saw nothing in it. Make us research on it and learn that human destruction has made an effect. Our next poet is Sister Amalor Pavameri. An empty nest, some windows with multiple brides, house warmed by sweat and effort, nest that cannot be created by man. Many houses on the palm tree, nests are pressed, engineering, the natural wonder, shines without explanation. Secret of nest is light of the fireplace, swing at home. Rainwater does not enter, air does not mix to that nest full of weeds. Our next poet is Mrs. P.T. Manimekalai. An empty nest. I picked the best twigs, knitted the nest. I searched the straws, which were so soft. I filled it with flowers, which were beautiful. Everything was ready to welcome. None came still. An empty nest makes my heart heavy. It's a bitter oxymoron, heaviness out of empty. Being a childless young couple without kids, being left alone in old age because of kids. Our next poet is Mr. Arun Prasad. An empty nest. Nothing can exist by itself. An empty nest must be, once or later, a home of a bird. Either someone must have evacuated or they themselves have evaded due to conflict. Both the options are prevalent today, be it a nest or a home. How many people flee out due to war? Their native home has now become just sand and stone, staying and lying as skeleton. Earth slowly getting more extinct, dormant and rare species. World stay divided with more and more boundaries to be an Iceland surrounded by enmity. Countries without democracy, classroom without importance to the learners, home without love, family without understanding, each and every individual without humanity. All these are emptiness, nearly will turn to dust unless restored of its originality. Our next poet is Mrs. R. Vijayashanti. An empty nest. Once upon a time, my nest is filled with three amazing photocopy of mine. For all the love I showered on them, I sang lullabies to make them feel cozy. I gave them identities of their own. I gave them wings to fly high. I kiss away their pains and sorrows. They are very close to my bosom till now. I taught them how to cross good and bad. I educated them how to swim in the boat of life. I made them overcome their struggles. I uplift them to the top to show this wonderful world. Why does sadness surrounds me all of a sudden? Why all my joy and happiness absent in my heart? Why eyes are wet? Tears roll down my cheeks. Where is the love and concern once was abundance? Oh, now my younger ones became older. They are poised to take flight and go. They don't need my presence, but I need their presence. But I couldn't show my need to know because my best is empty now. Hey, I can see only an empty nest, longing of a former breadwinner of a family. Our next poet is Mrs. S. Suganya. Our home is as beautiful as the bird's nest. The babbling voices of the children are like the creeping sounds of birds. Such a sweet sanguinity is echoed everywhere at home. When the nestlings become floodlings, they flutter their wings and fly. The children too stand on their own feet and make a departure to chase their dreams. When the parents' little princess leave home after marriage like an empty nest, she leaves a void in their heart which cannot be filled by others. When the school is desolate, without the classroom cheers and claps, the teachers lose their enthusiasm and feel a sense of emptiness at heart. Our next poet is Mrs. Princeling John Y. An empty nest built by the twigs of love and grace, knitted with colorful feathers of dreams, embroidered by the parental care. The heavens supplied solace and shelter. Long back it's filled with songs, musical notes of the tweeting babes. Wings were developing better, suited for soaring higher. Flown away beyond the clouds, left the nest abandoned. Hold many stories of the past, remaining an epitome of art. Life has challenges and choices. Law of nature is survival of the fittest. Our next poet is Mrs. T. Thamarichelvi. An empty nest, sweetless sugar cane, shows the soil's faultiness. Smartless child denotes the lack of healthiness. Terrains of greenless, futile for cattle. Breezyless evenings never bring the coolness. Loss of confidence, worthless of audaciousness, loss of perseverance, incapable for the life goals of ambitious, less of tolerance, can't avail the peacefulness, less of prudence, reduces the prosperous, failure of faithfulness changes our life as an empty nest. Our next poet is Mrs. Uma Devi Arsakumar. An empty nest. She sparrow and he sparrow built a nest for kids in row. In each flight fed them to grow with offerings the next glow. Hungry eye of the predator, angry eye of the storm. They pray not to be a prey. Nest with kids was the only boon. Days rolled, they flew on their own to explore. Each sparrow and she sparrow found the empty nest on ground. Duty is over, still born. Reflect the pain as own. Here things change as days roll. Whether empty or full, you play your role. Our next poet is Mrs. Alice P. House differs from home. Nest with nestlings happy home. Children in a family blessed home. Early morning around nest birds roam. An empty nest is so calm. Seen near my window at lawn. Cheerful to observe tiny sparrows. Creeping melodies and fly as arrows. I saw a nest for years among my lemon tree branches. Seasonal clippings as prayer song, in between an empty list for long. Children got married, went abroad, an empty nest we feel so bored. Our next poet is Sis B. Deepa. An empty nest is like an empty arch, full of darkness stands light, resembles a hollow eye. As feathered birds fly, grown-ups glide in the sky. Unlike birdie, oldie die due to despondency. Grey should learn to elevate as birds update. Emptiness preach as to reach the level of serenity, accept the bitter truth with generosity. Our next poet is says Kavita. An empty nest. Our beautiful blue green planet is becoming an empty nest as we miss to do our invest. Mother Earth has kept a tough test, our negligence to arrest. It's not easy to digest our state of measured. Entire world is possessed by untold fear from something everyone is struggling to come over. We emptied its green view. Today in reviews quest, outward pleasures impressed, of the same we are depressed. Once we are all blessed, now every day is cursed. We all made earth empty. Now earth making us empty. Invest good habits. Fill our green earth with green. Invest freshness. Harvest refreshment. Earth is our true bequest. So earth suggests us to do the best, to fill its nest. Our next poet is Mrs. R. Ilaracy. An empty nest. Once I saw a bay weaver's nest, a beautiful abode for the bird to rest. It was woven on a palm tree corner in order to escape from enemies and danger. An engineer is hidden in a bay weaver because it chose a half of a grass and quiet to build its own nest with two chambers, one for its babies and another for its cute partner. One day I noticed the nest on the ground. Filled with surprise, I took in my hands, but nothing found. The bird might flew to new location and hence the nest abandoned. Learned about the well-disciplined life of the bird and the
Thank you,
standard.
dear Gayatri ma'am. You have recited all the poems in a nice manner. I really appreciate you from the depth of my heart for your voluntary service. And all the poems are neatly depicted in their own way. Hearty congratulations to all the creative writers. Keep penning, keep shining.